The average public knows absolutely nothing about Lyme disease and all the things we face every day, and it's absolutely ridiculous how bad it is. I think that the worst thing about Lyme disease is the treatment you get from doctors and these so-called high specialists that tell you you're faking it. And if you go and you're a cancer patient, they never tell you you're faking it, and they get treated with such great care, which they should. And Lyme patients don't get any of that. You get called to a psychiatrist and they tell you you're making it up. I've been told I've been making it up for years, all the way since I was 12 years old. I will always know my body better than anyone else, and nobody is going to tell me that what I am feeling is not true and is not there. People think it's just a tick bite and a little joint pain. No, people have feeding tubes, NG tubes, feeding tubes in their stomachs. They have so many problems. They need oxygen. Service dogs, seizures, so many problems. People are paralyzed from Lyme disease. This is not over-exaggerating. I'm in a Facebook group with a ton of people my age, and this is what we talk about because this is what we deal with. It's absolutely ridiculous. People say, well, at least it isn't cancer. Well, you know what? I know a person who died of Lyme disease. I don't just know a name. I didn't just see it in an article. I actually knew her. She went to the same doctor as me, and we talked a bunch of times. She was in a wheelchair. She couldn't do anything for herself. Her husband had to rent this special bus to get her wheelchair up there because she couldn't go in a regular car. And she went to my doctor's, and she was the nicest, sweetest lady, probably in her 60s. And she was misdiagnosed for so long because no one took her seriously that she died. One day I went to my doctor's and I just asked about her, and they told me she passed away from Lyme disease. And this happens far more than anyone could ever imagine. The symptoms are really the easiest part. Dealing with being in the hospital for a week with my skin peeling off and an infection and having a port are the easy things. Being stuck in bed and not being able to read a book are the easy things. Those aren't even close to the hard things because it is so much worse, and I wish that was the easiest of it, but it's not. It's dealing with people who are always going to say, well, you don't look sick. Or do they say that to people with cancer, people with multiple sclerosis, which is often, or always, as many doctors say, a misdiagnosis and is actually Lyme disease? No. People are so cruel and say chronic Lyme disease is not real, where I can get a packet from one of my doctors that cites 700 sources, 700 studies proving that chronic Lyme disease is real. And it's not just Lyme disease, it's all the bacteria that goes with it. And it really should not be that hard to comprehend. I had friends in school, but I had to leave school for 1.5 years. I missed out on 1.5 years of high school, and none of those people that I was with ever talked to me. And you know what? Nobody cared. Because if they did, they would have texted me, they would have called me, they would have asked to come over. It's not that hard. If people really want to talk to you and be with you, they can. I might look fine on the outside. You can't see the port in my chest, and you cannot see what is going inside my body and all people with Lyme disease internally. You can't. And there is such terrible judgment from people, and people are ridiculed for getting treated for a disease they have. We spend $1,000 and up dollars for an appointment for a Lyme specialist. I lost so many friends from Lyme disease. I guess I didn't really have a lot of friends. I guess I just found out who my real friends are. I mean, I would be so sick in bed and not be able to do anything, and no one ever wanted to come hang out with me. Nobody from my dance studio ever wanted to come hang out with me. None of them texted me. People I was really close to, or I thought I was really close to, never answered me. So I stopped answering them because I said, forget about you. You're not worth my time. Same thing with school, and I don't talk to barely any people from college that are in college now, because I think if you want to talk to me, you'll talk to me. If you want to ask how I'm feeling, you have my phone number. You can find me on Facebook. But people choose not to because they're too self-absorbed in their own lives, and they don't think about the struggles that other people are going through. And I know that there are a lot more people out there struggling besides me. I could have been so many things, and I know I'm gonna do great things. But this disease just stopped my whole life with dancing and just never getting to talk to people and being so isolated from a place that I thought I was so welcomed. And then I realized that people didn't really care because I was out of sight and out of mind. There is such a lack of awareness and education about how severe these problems can get, and how many things Lyme disease causes. And if people knew that it was multiple sclerosis, that multiple sclerosis does cause Lyme disease does cause dementia, Lyme disease does cause Alzheimer's, Lyme disease does cause fibromyalgia. Not in every single case, but in a lot of cases. Maybe they would have a different opinion. Maybe if they felt what I went through every day, or maybe I need a little video camera on my head because people need to see it to believe it. Or just because my head isn't bald and I'm not wearing a face mask right now doesn't mean I'm not sick. It doesn't mean other people aren't sick. One oncologist was misdiagnosed for many years. He ended up having Lyme disease. And the doctors he went to, because he didn't know what was wrong with him, were telling him he was crazy. And he was a doctor. He was an oncologist. He ended up needing a heart transplant. He got a heart transplant. These are not little things, and these are not things to be taken lightly. There is such a big spectrum, and it is not being taken seriously.